Alright, man, peace. So as many of you brothers know who frequent my channel, I have a series on here called Should Men Fall in Love? And of course the answer to that is no. And I always state in that series that what love is sacrifice and loyalty. That's all love is. Love is healthy. Being in love is not healthy. And once again, the definition for love in my view is just loyalty and sacrifice. So now that we've established what love is, the question now begs to be asked, what is loyalty? All loyalty is, brothers, always remember this. All loyalty is somebody or something sticking with you, not because of what you can offer them, but because of who you are. That's all it is. Like your mother or father, they love you because of who you are. They don't try to take you back to the shop to trade you in for a better son. You understand that? So you never ever in life have a firm grasp of who's loyal to you until they're presented with a situation where they have the opportunity to move on to something better, or at least in their mind, something better. That's when you're going to find out if someone or something is loyal to you. So you always have to understand that when you establish rapport with people, whether it be your woman, your friends, your colleagues at work, or even certain family members who you're not quite sure about what they're dealing with spiritually or mentally or emotionally or what have you. Loyalty can only be established when there is an opportunity for options. That's when you know. So that brings us to Mr. Damian Lillard, who decided that he's going to come out and state that he's going to stay with Portland and that he's going to be loyal to Portland because he does not want to sell himself out over a championship. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
6 or 7 years of fighting, trying to get over the hump. You know, even though it's hard, I don't want to take my position for granted. Obviously, we all play to win a championship. I want to win a championship. I compete to win the championship. When my career is over, I'm going to know the relationships that I'm going to have. I'm going to know the people who knew I was solid with them. I took people's situations and their families and what could be into consideration before I just made a decision based off, all right, this is what would be best for me. I do want to win a championship, but it's other stuff that means more to me.
Gotcha. I understand.
It's almost like I'm not willing to sell myself out for that.
Let me say this very quickly. You know who made a very similar speech or a very similar soliloquy to what Damian Lillard just uttered here at around that 6 or 7 year mark in his career? Michael Jordan. Now, of course, he didn't touch on many of the components that Dame touched on here. But Michael Jordan, year 5 and 6 into the NBA, going into year 7, he started to make statements like this, pertaining to what if I never win a championship? I will still be happy with my career because I've done such and such, or I've been loyal to the city of Chicago, so on and so forth. So do I believe that Damian Lillard is loyal? Yes, I do, because in the current NBA landscape, he could fall in line with what so many other quote-unquote star players are doing and go to management and demand a trade. But let me also say this. From what I see with the Portland Trail Blazers, they have what it takes to challenge for a title right now. They're not going to be the favorite out west, no. But they're right there with OKC. They're right there with the Rockets. They're right there with Denver. And can they beat the Warriors in the playoffs? Who knows? But they've already beaten them a couple of times this season. Now, should they match up with them in the playoffs? Of course, the Warriors will have the edge. But that's when it will automatically become time for Dame Lillard to prove his worth and his value. Because in very close, tightly contested series, whichever team's superstar or star steps up to the plate and outshines everybody else, that's the team that's going to win. So we'll find out somewhere down the line. But Portland is right there with OKC. They're right there with the Rockets. They're right there with Denver. They're right there with Utah. They can compete with any of those teams. And with the way that they're playing and with some of their additions, Enes Kanter was a great addition for them off the bench. To have a big man like him, who's not a very good defensive player, but who's a great scorer and rebounder, that was a great boon to their overall lineup.
I thought that was great. That was Damian Lillard telling Chris Haynes of Yahoo about his loyalty to the Portland Trail Blazers and sort of what he puts in front of be-all and end-all winning a title.
And let me say this again. Do I believe that Dame is as loyal as he's letting on? Yes, I do, because he does have options. Once again, loyalty is when somebody has options to move on from something that many regular people or people with a certain amount of understanding may deem to be of higher value than what they currently have, and they still remain with that person. Now, down the line, people might say, well, what he did was silly. But these players, they make so much money today. Why go somewhere else and hope to win a championship? And like he said, sell out your franchise and sell out this and that and demand a trade when there's no guarantee that you're going to win. When KD went to Golden State, it was a guarantee that they were going to win a championship. Plus, he was a free agent. Plus, he was pissed off and tired of Westbrook and the front office in OKC. For all intents and purposes, from what we understand, Dame Lillard is happy in Portland. He's happy with his teammates. He's happy with the coach. He's happy with the front office. They also can pay him the most money. So he knows that Portland is going to be contesting for a championship for the most part for the entirety of his career. They're going to be a 50-win team for the entirety of his career for the most part. So why bother? If that's him and he wants to stay, let him stay.
And I think some people got a little twisted by being like, oh, he's too loyal. He's talking about other stuff, right, T-Mac?
Yeah, and first I want to address, the last thing he said about he don't want to sell himself out. That's not a shot at KD.
It might be a shot at KD. You don't know that.
Everybody going to take that and think it's a shot at KD. It's not.
You don't know that, brother.
What he's basically saying is, look, I have established myself in this community. These people know me. The organization has treated me and my family graciously.
And also they can pay me the most money.
I have great relationships with my teammates. I am happy here.
Right.
This is all about happiness, and that to me means everything. It's the world. If you can't be happy somewhere, then yes, you have to go somewhere and where you can find that happiness.
Agreed.
And possibly win a championship. But I'll take happiness any day for being in one uniform and opposing to going somewhere and trying to chase a championship, right?
It depends on the situation. If it's a definite, like KD going to Golden State, then that's understandable. KD literally made his career better in every way by going to Golden State. I mean, other than the money. But he's going to make that money up, and I guarantee you that Joe Lacob has hooked him up with certain money-making revenue streams off the basketball floor in Golden State. That's why you always hear about KD with the startup companies and getting involved with the venture capitalists or the people in Silicon Valley, because Joe Lacob has hooked him up in that way to make up for however much money he may have lost by leaving OKC. So when KD decided to move on to Golden State, that was a slam dunk. And once again, I have no idea why he would want to leave that situation.
It's interesting. I was just thinking about what he said, and think about the happiest guys in the league. And I don't want to name names, but when I think about the stars, the top 15 players.
Only Kevin's like, I don't want to rat out anyone who's happy. I wouldn't want to do that.
No, but I'm saying like Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, they're guys interesting. They're not on the super teams. The guys on the super teams.
Would you really call Russell Westbrook happy? I think Russ is just crazy.
They seem really restless all the time. Dame has a lot of equity with that franchise. He is included in decisions. The city is absolutely enraptured with that franchise. He's in a great.
They have to be. They have nothing else.
Great place. And by the way, I think when the spreadsheet clears in Portland, I would say that any 3-man or 4-man who wants to kind of band together, I mean, they're one player. They're a 3 or a 4-man away from being one of those teams.
Tracy, you can say it. Tell him he hasn't been here. Tracy thinks they're Carmelo Anthony.
Tracy, you should be embarrassed and ashamed of your damn self. Carmelo Anthony, give me a break.
That is not the solution.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, that is not the solution.
Look, I mean, there's that whole quote, right? Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing, or whatever. And we have the rings culture in the NBA and all of that. The pushback on that is, guess what? Winning a championship can still be incredibly important. I don't want anyone to walk out of this interview that Dame did with Chris and say, oh, he doesn't care about winning.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
No, he cares about winning. He's just grading the pros versus the cons. And he understands that he's in a happy situation. KD was not in a happy situation where he was at. He did not like playing with Westbrook, and I don't blame him.
You've seen Dame Lillard play. He cares about winning.
Absolutely.
But guess what? Not everyone's going to win a title every year. And
once again, I've stated this in the past. Over every basketball generation, and the average basketball generation is about 15 years. It's normally only about 3 or 4 teams that win a championship.
And he's saying there's other things here
That's more important.
that are important.
Really.
And I think just putting it under the bounty of loyalty does a little bit of a disservice to him, because we almost see that things have gone so full circle. When we see players talking about being loyal to a franchise, you almost think of them like, oh, that's kind of a chump move. They're ready to trade you. You should be ready to deal with them.
Doesn't matter. You understand the money-making opportunities that you have with a certain organization. All that nonsense about teams trading you. When you're making $30, $35 million a year, $40 million a year, you could trade me wherever the hell you want to trade me. I could care less. The main thing is that players have to stop buying into this notion of a family atmosphere. Your team is not your family. Don't let them sell you on that, and you won't get emotionally caught up in bullshit.
With them, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the fact that there are 10 other things going on here, and all 10 of those things are important to my character and me as a person, and I don't want to sell that out just to chase a title around that. Frankly, very few guys actually win.
Agreed.
Win.
It's interesting. We talk a lot about self-determination, and sometimes that means I want to band together with my friends or the guys I want to play. You know what? And sometimes it doesn't mean that. Sometimes this is as much self-determination as that is.
Yeah, absolutely. And CJ's his friend. Just saying. Speaking of super.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. I just thought that this topic was very interesting because it would allow us to delve into certain concepts pertaining to loyalty. Loyalty is something that a lot of people talk about, but very few people exhibit it. Very few people even know what it is. Once again, brothers, all loyalty is when you or somebody associated with you is confronted with options that the layman might deem to be of higher value, and you decide to stick with what you have because of a personal affinity. That's all loyalty is. But anyway, peace.